friends. I'm so excited to be able to go on an expedition with you again today. And I have been noticing so many birds in my yard. I see them and I hear them. I'm wondering if you're even hearing some of them right now around me. This morning, the strangest thing happened. I actually saw a robin chase a blue jay. And I wondered to myself, what is that all about? So I came outside to where the ruckus was happening, and I peeked around a little bit, and you won't believe what I found. I found a robin's nest. So, why was the blue jay maybe interested in the nest, or why was the robin chasing the blue jay away? Anyways, it got me thinking about all these things, and I started wondering if maybe the blue jay was interested in eggs that were in the nest, or maybe some baby birds that were in the nest. All that reminded me of one of my favorite books. So let me read you a teeny bit out of this book, and then let's continue on with our expedition, visiting a couple of different habitats where different kinds of birds might live and make their nests. It's nesting time. Wonder if anybody recognizes this friend right here. Birds build their nests in spring and in summer. They build in high and low places. They build in trees and bushes, in fields and on the water. The robin builds her nest in a shrub or a tree. She may build it under the eaves of a roof or on a windowsill. The female robin does most of the work. First, she carries twigs and coarse grass to make the bottom of her nest. Next, she carries mud in her beak. She pushes it between the twigs and grass. This makes the bottom firm. If the robin can find no mud, she makes some. She takes soil in her beak, then dips her beak in the water. This makes the mud she needs. She packs the mud into her nest. The robin searches for string and bits of paper and cloth for the nest. Back and forth she flies, with string, paper, and cloth. Back and forth she flies, with twigs, grass, and mud, to build the sides of her nest. Back and forth, back and forth. When the nest is almost finished, the robin sits on it and turns and twists. She does this to make the inside of the nest smooth. Then she gathers fine grass to make a soft pad for the eggs. After dozens and dozens of trips to get twigs, grass, string, and mud, the nest is finished. It may not look neat or pretty. Pieces of string, cloth, and paper may dangle from the sides. But the nest will safely hold the eggs the robin will lay. The nest will safely hold the baby robins until they learn to fly. Now, friends, I'm going to skip and just read you 2 more pages about a couple of birds in particular that I want to study more closely with you today. The first is over here, it's the meadowlark, and the second one will be over here. It's called the ovenbird. So let's start here. The meadowlark builds her nest in tall grass. The nest is carefully covered with weeds and grass so no one can see it. Sometimes the meadowlark builds a tunnel to the nest. The meadowlark flies to the opening of the tunnel and then walks through the tunnel to the nest. Now onto this side. The ovenbird builds her nest on the ground. The nest is hidden by dried leaves and grass. The top is covered and the opening is on the side. The bird is called ovenbird because her nest looks like an oven. The ovenbird uses fine roots, twigs, and grass to make her nest. She lines it completely with pine needles, hair, and soft grass.
How interesting. Most people just think of nests in the trees, like the robin's nest. But we just learned about two other birds that build their nest actually on the ground. The meadowlark builds hers, well, just like her name says, in a meadow. And the ovenbird builds hers on the forest floor. A meadow is a kind of habitat. It's a place where plants and animals live. Meadows are places with tall grass and wildflowers. Sometimes there's a tree or a bush, but it's mostly grass. If you have a meadow near you, try sitting still there for a minute to notice what it feels like. Can you feel the warmth of the sun on your back or the wind on your skin? Do you notice any smells? Maybe just the fresh scent of grass or the sweetness of a flower blooming? Can you hear any birds? In my meadow, I'm hearing a lot of birds. Maybe you heard the caw of the crow or the bubbling tune of the bobolink. A forest is a kind of habitat. It's a place where plants and animals live. Forests are places with tall trees. Sometimes there are ferns or wildflowers or even moss, but it's mostly trees. If you have a forest near you, try sitting still there for a minute to notice what it feels like. Can you feel the coolness of the shade? Do you notice any smells? Maybe it's the rich scent of the soil. Can you hear any birds? In my forest, I'm hearing an ovenbird. How exciting! So, I have a challenge for you.
Can you build a nest like a meadowlark or one like an ovenbird? Choose a habitat. Will it be mostly grass or mostly trees? If it's mostly grass, try building a meadowlark's nest. If it's mostly trees, try building an ovenbird's nest.
Okay, friends, so here we are in the forest where I was hearing the ovenbird just a little bit ago. And where the ovenbird likes to build her nest is on the forest floor in a place where it's really deep with leaves, like where I am right here. So I'd have this kind of space. Some of the things that what she likes to build her nest with, you can just build it with what you find in your spot, or as you're walking to your spot in the woods, you might collect some things, because the ovenbird flies around in places other than the woods to collect things for her nest. So some of the things that she likes are grass, so I picked some grass on the way. Some of it was fresh, some of it was dried. Sometimes she uses sticks. She uses dried leaves, which there's plenty of here. She might use bark. There's little bits of there in here as well, of that in here as well. Most birds line the inside with something kind of soft. So I was thinking about that, and I didn't see many, but on the walk down I saw a couple of dandelions that had gone by. So I thought that looked a little soft. So here's my materials, and there's a wealth of other things around me, so I'm going to start building my ovenbird nest. And so, before the ovenbird starts weaving her dome nest, she's going to clear away a spot down in the fallen leaves. So that's where I'm going to build. All right, here I go. is my ovenbird nest. You don't have to do yours quite that fast. Have fun. Okay, and now for another quick version, this one of the meadowlark. So we're in a meadow, and the kinds of things that the meadowlark likes to use are mostly found here. There might be stems from some plants. So I had some ferns growing right by me, so I picked some of those. Or maybe this plant here is really common. I call it bedstraw. It's really common in meadows, and it's really bendable, so that might be handy. So I got a little bit of that. And the meadowlark also uses a lot of this, like this dead grass stuff, which you can see there's tons around. So I just picked that up from right there. They don't so much use leaves, which was a big ingredient in the ovenbirds, but they sometimes use bark too, more like strips of bark. So I got this on my walk back from the woods up to the meadow. And the first thing that, that the meadowlark does is actually finds a spot in the meadow where there's usually a little depression. That means a little dip. It could just be from where an animal's footprint was. So I see one right here. There's a big stick. I'm just gonna nudge that out of the way. But I have a nice depression right here, and that's where I'm gonna start building my nest. All right, here I go. Ta-da! There is my eastern meadowlark nest. Feeling pretty proud of my tunnel coming up to it. Anyways, there you go. Again, take your time doing it. It doesn't have to be that fast. Have a great time with it.
And remember, the nest was built with no tools, no basket for carrying, no needle for weaving, no nails or pins to fasten it. All the work was done with the bird's beak and feet for carrying, its soft breast or beak for smoothing, and its strong wings for traveling back and forth to build its nest in the spring. So, thanks for joining me. Good luck with your challenge, and we'll see you later. Bye, friends. If you have enjoyed this video, please visit our website to learn more about what we do and consider making a donation.